guys, it's Marianne from Thrive Admin Services. This week's video, in this video, I'm sharing with you one of the things I love about working with Simplero for my business, and that's the email newsletter feature. So it allows me to create different schedules with different frequency that I'm sending them out, but to really hone down on the participants that get different kinds of emails. So I'm going to walk you through how we set up a newsletter schedule in Simplero, and you'll get to see a couple of the ones that I work with as well. So let's get started.
Okay, so we're in our main Simplero dashboard, and we're going to go up at the top. We're going to go to marketing and email broadcasts. And this is where you can house all of your individual broadcasts. So if I go to the delivered tab, you can see these are all of the emails that I have sent. You can see there's nearly 600 of them there across those pages. And what it does is it lets me see a little bit of the stats straight up. So if you've worked in something like MailChimp or MailerLite or ActiveCampaign, you know that these are sort of the stats that we watch, our opens, clicks, unsubscribes and bounces. And this is all of them. So you can see this groups them all here by the name I give them. But what I wanted to show you was how I have set up some schedules for my emails so that I get reminders, which is something that I find really helpful on a super busy week. So to do that, we go marketing and we go into our newsletters tab. Now here is where you can set up a newsletter schedule, and you can determine who receives it from your database, how often it goes out, and how you get reminded. So I thought today we would create a newsletter schedule, and you can see how it works from start to finish. So we're going to create a newsletter schedule, and we're going to give it a name. So I'm going to call this one Test Newsletter because that's what we're doing. Now you can give it a label. So if you've got a set of labels within so I've got some that I already use. You might have one based on a particular group you have or a particular reminder that you need, and you can color code them, etc. So I'm not going to pop a label on this one. And then you can set how often this newsletter is scheduled. So as you can see, you can do it daily, and it can repeat every 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Weekly is quite useful. So for example, I have my weekly update, and for that, I have it go every week on a Friday. The interesting thing is you might say, oh, I've got a newsletter, but I only want it to go out. I want it to go out on Tuesdays and Fridays. So we could say we're going to do one on Tuesday and one on Friday, and we're going to do it every week. How easy is that? Or if you want to do it monthly, you can specify whether it goes on a specific day. So you could say it might be the 15th, the 28th, the 31st, which means obviously it wouldn't go every month. Or you can specify a specific weekday. So you can say, right, my newsletter goes on the last Friday each month. Really easy. Or the first Friday of each month, first Monday of each month. Really handy. And you can repeat that. So I might say, it goes on the first Monday of each month, but it's only going to go every 3 months because I want it to be about the new quarters. And then you can actually set when you want that schedule to start. So if we're talking about doing a quarterly newsletter, I might say, I don't want one to go. And what have I set there? The first Monday of every month. So my next one for the new quarter would actually be Monday, the 2nd of January. And I can pick the time, and I can be super specific. I want it to go at 9:13 a.m., etc. Now that's based on my time zone. Okay, so that's important to know. This is the information that we can set up now for the actual newsletter. So we can actually create as much of the standard content in here, so I'm only having to tweak it each time. So it's going to come from me. If people hit reply to the email, it's going to come to me as well. I've got some templates set up, so I could choose one of my templates. So let's say I'm going to use the Thrive update for that. We can have a subject line that's automatically set. I can always change it later. So I can, you can pop your emojis and other bits and pieces in here. And then I can pop in some body text so that will automatically be in place by default. So I can use this to create reminders for myself. So we could have Okay, as whatever you might like. You can still format this with all of the same features and tools. So I can still mark it with any of the tools. I can add images and videos and hyperlinks and change the color. So I can make this bold. I could make it actually like a heading 2, and I could change the color. I can make it a custom color, and we could make it ACC 196, and you'll see it's giving me that color. Or I could make it one of my other less used colors that aren't set up on my set up as one of my default options or my branded options. So this is the important bit for me, because despite my best efforts, sometimes I just forget to take the time to do a newsletter. So I can choose, if you've got different people with access on your account, you can change that to choose who the notifications go to. I get a reminder 48 hours before, 24 hours before, and 4 hours before. So this is a base from my weekly update. So my weekly update goes on a Friday, and I have a reminder that comes on Wednesday. I get another one on Thursday if I haven't scheduled anything. And then I get another one 4 hours before it goes out, which is about the time I get up in the morning. So it pops up on my phone and says, hey, you really need to get this done. And then if you miss your deadline, you can get a reminder so many hours after, and again, so many hours after. So if we go create newsletter, what will happen here is that I can now choose who it goes to. So at this stage, I can break it right down, and we can be really specific, which is what I love about Simplero. So I can say I want it to go to every single one of my contacts. I can pick particular lists, and then I could break it down even further. So I'm going to go with, let's choose my full list, but then I'm going to add some conditions. And here's where I've got a lot of flexibility. So whether they've got a particular kind of tag on them from coming through my system, whether they're also subscribed to another list. So I might say, I definitely want them to also be subscribed to this wait list, and they're going to get some, and you can say that they've signed up before or after a certain date. If you leave that blank, it's everyone. So I might say they're also subscribed, add conditions. So they're on this list only if they're also on this list, because there are some people who are on both. There are some people who are just on one and not the other. You can also go by whether they're not subscribed to a list, whether they have or have not purchased any of your particular products. Purchased and participant are different because sometimes people will buy it as a gift for somebody else. So that's the difference there. Whether they've got active purchases, whether they're in any of your automations or not, and some information about the individual contact as well. So you might say, I want everyone who has purchased, it's going to everyone on my list who has not purchased the masterclass, the November masterclass. So if we do that and save changes, what it's going to do is it's going to, I'm not going to let you see the details below, but you can see that I've got 1,130 available here in this source, and then it's removed the people who actually who purchased this. So it's dropped it to 1123 are going. So it's 7 people from the workshop. Okay, so that means that anyone who purchased that is not going to receive whatever I send. And it gives me that flexibility between my products, my lists, my tags, all in one place, and I can be super specific about who gets these newsletters. So that's my newsletter, and it's all set up. So this is test newsletter. We'll look at the settings there. So these are the settings that we put in place. It's ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to save the changes. The next newsletter is due in about 2 months. I can write the newsletter and it will then pop it in a queue and it will sit there. And when I'm happy with it, it will go. As easy as that.
So I hope that shows you some of the features available within Simplero's email newsletter feature. What I love compared to some of the other programs I've worked with for email campaigns and email newsletters is that I can keep it live and be pulling in So a newsletter I might do this week that might go to everybody who's purchased a particular product. If I want to do another one down the track, I don't have to update that information. I can simply use exactly the same conditions and it will automatically pull in everybody I need. So I'm not having to manually upload and download data. I'm not having to worry about my bumping and changing my subscriber numbers so that I may kick into another level of a plan. It's just seamless and it works and I love it. So if you are interested in checking out Simplero, I'll pop a code below so that you can actually get a full 30-day trial. Now, 30 days gives you loads of time to play around. Check it all out and see if it's user-friendly for you in your business. I use the email feature in a few different ways. I do a weekly update, I do an affiliate update every month, and I do a membership update every month. And so they're different groups of people, but all of that information sits on their same contact record. So I love it because I can see everything in one place. If you are interested in finding out more about how you can work with Simplero in your business, then please follow Thrive. You can subscribe to our channel. You can find me hanging out on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or you can get in touch directly via thriveadmin.com. Have a great day.